All right, let's jump right into a topic that has fascinated us for, well, forever, but we're going to look at it from an angle you've probably never heard before. The source material for this explainer makes a pretty bold claim right out of the gate. We are not alone.
And it all really boils down to this one massive question, right? Are we alone in the universe? For most of history, that was just a philosophical debate. But now science is starting to give us some really interesting clues.
I mean, think about it. Modern science has confirmed the existence of over 4,000 planets outside our solar system. 4,000! At a certain point, the idea that we're the only ones out here starts to feel, statistically a little shaky. The universe is just packed with possibilities.
But this is where our source material today really pushes things. It suggests that the debate isn't even about whether life exists out there anymore. The real question is way more direct and, frankly, a little more chilling. Are they already here?
So to answer that question, the source lays out what it calls a cautionary tale. And it's the story of those beings you've probably heard of, the ones that are famous in UFO lore, the beings we call the Greys. Okay, so here's the first big twist. According to this source, the Greys, they aren't extraterrestrials from some distant star. They are, believe it or not, descendants of humans. Humans from a parallel version of Earth that took a very, very different path. Their history, as the source tells it, is an absolute tragedy. They were a civilization with incredible technology, but they were completely disconnected from their own planet. They took their ecosystem for granted and just destroyed it. I'm talking wrecked atmosphere, dead oceans, the whole 9 yards. The survivors were forced to retreat into underground cities just to escape the pollution. But the damage was already done. The toxic environment caused massive infertility, and they were literally on the brink of extinction. So over generations, adapting to this harsh new reality, their bodies began to change. They mutated to survive, and eventually became the beings we would now recognize as the Greys. So if that's their backstory, that leads to a really important question. Why are they here? What's the point of all this interaction with our world? The source is pretty blunt about their motive. It's survival. To save their entire civilization from disappearing, they needed a genetic lifeline. So they used their advanced tech to find and travel to parallel realities like ours, looking for one thing: viable human DNA. So they could create a hybrid race and ensure their people had a future. But here's the thing. It's not described as just a one-way street. The idea is that it's a symbiotic exchange. They get the genetic material they desperately need to continue their species. And in return, their hybrid descendants, who see us as their ancient family, are trying to give us a massive heads up. They're offering us information and guidance, basically a warning, so that we can avoid the exact same catastrophic mistakes that ruin their world.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking, because I was thinking it too. The sheer, mind-boggling distances between stars. It makes travel seem impossible. So how could they, or anyone, actually get here? Well, the source claims it's because our whole understanding of how travel works is just wrong. This is where things get a little weird. The source introduces a totally different way of looking at physics. See, we think of an object being in a location, but they see location as a fundamental property of the object itself. It's just another variable, like its mass or its speed, all part of its unique energetic signature. And once you master that idea, travel becomes instantaneous. Their technology can map out a spaceship's entire energetic equation, find the specific variable for location, and then just change it from point A to point B. The ship then dematerializes where it was and instantly rematerializes at the new destination. It doesn't travel through space, it just changes its address in the universe.
So this all brings us to the future. If they are here and they have this incredible technology, what does the source say is coming next for us? What's the end game here? Are we on the path to what it calls open contact? And what's really interesting is that, according to the source, the next step isn't actually up to them. It's up to us. As more and more people on Earth start exploring consciousness, spirituality, and just open their minds to the possibility of life out there, we are apparently sending out what it calls an energetic invitation. They're simply responding to our call. And this is the most specific prediction in the entire source.
It states that this energetic shift we're creating is so strong that there is, get this, a greater than 90% chance of some kind of globally undeniable contact event happening around the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027. But here's the catch. What happens after that event? That's the real test. They will be watching our collective response. The source points to things like the Phoenix Lights, where 10,000 people saw something incredible, and it was largely just dismissed. That kind of reaction told them we weren't ready. So our global reaction to the next undeniable event, that's going to be the ultimate test that decides if and how quickly open contact actually happens.
So in the end, this source isn't just telling a story about them. It's really asking a question about us. If we are presented with absolute, undeniable proof that we are not alone, how will we, as a species, actually respond?